No, whatever's best for you. Do you want me to move it to you, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen.
Perfect.
I'm going to start this. First of all, the media, printed as well as television. Thank you for being here. It's been a real hard 1 month, not for me, but for the people that's been affected. Yes, not yesterday, this is what, Monday? Saturday and today is the only time I really started to feel good about where we are. Saturday is because I was at Pahoa, and I saw all the volunteers making those shelters, and their enthusiasm and their energies, which is, as the guy said, this is the beginning. Today is because of the gentleman behind me. My relationship with FEMA goes a long, long ways. And I want everybody in this state or whoever's reading or watching. I met FEMA many years ago. Some of you know how long I've been in this lousy job. Good job, lousy job. And I'll never forget Frank teaching me, when he told the audience in Kalapana, because I was so afraid that this guy from the mainland was going to be a bureaucrat. I didn't understand where he was and the people and what was being lost. And after I got through talking to him to tell him, please don't be a bureaucrat, he stood up there in front of all those Hawaiians in Kalapana and said, which I've repeated many, many times since, this gentleman named Frank from FEMA said, no matter how much we do for you, it will not be enough. And I thought, well, we hit a home run. But I'll tell you, after talking to the FEMA gentleman today, of which, Robert Fenton, Region 9 director, today is the first time I met him, I think I hit the home run 10 times over with the team that he sent over here. I'll introduce all of them, but Tom Fagione was here with us. Where's Tom? Tom, when did you come here?
7th, I believe, or 8th. 7th of
7th of May?
7th of May.
Tom is not just here physically, he's here working with us. And remember what date you said. This thing started May 3rd, I think, and he's been here since May 7th. And the whole thing of sequence of the presidential and FEMA involvement surprised me because it was so quick, so efficient, and it was not just, hi, I'm here, see you later. I see him here 7 days a week, so publicly, Tom, very much for being who you are. The person I met today is Robert Fenton, who is the Region 9 administrator. And the only thing I heard about him is, boy, is he big. And yes, he's big, but big inside here. I don't mean just physically. The guy representing the state is Tom Travis. Not sure how far back we did go. I first met him when he was a young officer on a nuclear submarine that was responding to Hurricane Eva. I think some of you weren't born then, but that's okay. And the submarine that was sent to Kauai to see if they could help Kauai because they had no power. But, the problem was distribution lines and not production. Really none. We got a personal joke with each other, but I won't mention it. He's I think the first guy that I really met as far as administration, besides, Tom. We hit a home run with these guys. We really have. Today, I'll let him take over for now. Mr. Fenton, Region 9 Administrator. I told him what the problems we have. This is different. We're still on the emergency response basis. For those of you who've been with us in community meetings, there's a lot of desperation out there. A lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a lot of what now? Where do I go now? Everything I had in life is gone. And today I feel so much better that we can't fix everything. FEMA they don't have the magic wand to make it not happen. But I feel so good about Mr. Fenton being here, his attitude on what they're going to work with us in regards to trying to help our people out. I say this sincerely from the bottom of what I feel. I feel very good about these people from FEMA Naturally, I've told you about the governor coming through for us with Tom Travis representing the governor's office. So to all the victims out there of this very, very bad time, I've said it publicly, it hurts like hell today. But I think, with the team of people that are behind me, working with the locals and every resource that they have, I think they will fix a lot of things to make it better. So can I ask Mr. Fenton to come up, please?
Thanks, sir. Well, good afternoon. My name is Bob Fenton. I'm the FEMA Region 9 Regional Administrator. I had a chance today to go do a flyover with the National Guard to kind of look at the impacts from this event. And, just amazed at the amount of devastation, the number of homes destroyed from the lava, and the complexity of this event with the potential for additional threats from gases and other things as this event continues to move on, and not knowing exactly how long this will continue or who may be affected next. It's important that we all continue to watch for warnings and messages so that we stay safe. The local government here, the county, the mayor, and all the local responders has done an unbelievable job of helping survivors during these events to ensure their safety during these events. It's important that as we start thinking about the next steps, and we start, as the mayor talked about, recovery and eventually long-term recovery, it's going to take a lot more than just FEMA and the state and the county to help people. It's really going to take a whole community effort. And when you look at the complexity of this event, it's going to take a lot of partners to come together. And I was pleased today to see that already happening. And I think, been around Hawaii for a number of years, and the Aloha spirit is alive here on the Big Island. Saw it with the building of the tiny homes. Met a gentleman named Gilbert who's leading that effort with voluntary agencies, helping out, donating supplies from private companies, neighbor helping neighbor there. And just great stories as I went around hearing how the outpouring of help is happening to help people through these times. We're going to continue to be there. We're here on island, as you heard, as early as May 7th. The governor requested from the president a declaration on May 10th. The president turned it around and declared it on May 11th. I've had one of our Type 1 national teams here on the island since a couple days before the president's declaration, and one of our Type 1 FCOs here, Willie, as the mayor talked about. We'll continue to stay here. This is a persistent event. This will continue on for some time. And we're going to stay here and not only work on the short-term recovery, but long-term recovery. Right now, we're able to help with the immediate mass care issues. We are able to direct other federal agencies to help with any life-saving requirements and to help reimburse the damages from this event to the county and the state. Next, we're looking at the damages to individuals' homes. We're doing assessments right now and hope that information, with that information, the governor then will be able to request additional assistance from FEMA where we can help individuals out. And then we're looking at long-term recovery. What are we going to do in the future to make sure that we build in a safe area, that we are able to help people recover from this event. As the mayor said, there is no magic wand for this event. We don't have the authorities that will make everyone whole here, but we're going to do our best to bring together the federal government resources that will at least help individuals get back on their feet. But it's going to take, as I said in the beginning, a whole community effort, and it's going to take a long-term effort to continue to work toward this. So we'll continue to be here and partner with the county and the state and all the tremendous leaders behind me through the leadership of the mayor and the governor to continue to support the citizens of Hawaii impacted from this event. So thank you. Glad to take any questions.
Can you speak about, you touched briefly on resources that are available to individuals. Can you go into a little more detail on what resources ultimately can or will be available to individuals that have been impacted by this event?
Sure. So right now, voluntary agencies are providing the predominant resources to individuals, including donations and assistance, as I said, through the county and the state to help, seeing the National Guard today, working with private sector to help build these homes to help provide some type of better non-congregate sheltering type of environment is really great to see, and to see initiative being taken at that level. Things like feeding, sheltering, those kind of things are available right now. The other things that we're going to be able to do is reimburse for any damages from this event, and those kind of things. As far as individuals, as we get a better idea of the impact to individuals' homes and how many primary homeowners' homes were destroyed, how many renters don't have a place to rent because their home was destroyed, then the state can go ahead and take that information and make a request to the president for additional assistance to help individuals. What we can then provide is things maybe like rental assistance. However, let me just go ahead and tell you, when I did the look for rental assistance on this island, there's not a lot of rental properties, right? So, to the mayor's point, there is no magic wand for some of these things. It's gonna take us a while to work through with individuals and do case management to see what their needs are and what resources we can provide to them. And in some cases, when you look at our grants in FEMA, our grants are maxed out at $34,000, but the average is really like $4,000. And we don't provide funding to people with insurance or rental, or people that have vacation homes and secondary homes, those kind of things. So there's many people that may not be eligible for our programs. So we need to be working with other federal agencies and voluntary agencies to see what other resources are that can help. But until I start understanding each individual's situation and their circumstances, then I can start working with partners at the federal, state, local, and private level to design other resources that may be able to help them in addition to what's being brought today by the county, the state, and the volunteers that are here doing a great job.
Sorry, Mr. Volcano,
Yes.
you just went through so many numbers, but I think some of the most important ones that you mentioned was that the average payout is $4,000 and the maximum is around $35,000.
That's correct.
Can you explain the parameters or essentially what triggers an allotment within that range, and how an individual should then go about planning for their long-term future based on those numbers?
So I would say that first, right now, it has not been turned on for individual assistance. So the first thing is we need to do assessments right now. We're on ground this week doing assessments, especially after the number of houses that were recently just destroyed kind of put us in the neighborhood of now meeting some of our criteria to be eligible to turn on those programs for the governor's request. So we're right now gathering more information to support the governor's request. It requires us to validate exactly what the damage was. So that's one of the reasons why I'm out here today, and my team's out here doing that. At that point, we'll go ahead and give the information to the state so the governor can make a request to the president for additional assistance through individual assistance. And then what will happen is we'll do case management with the individual. We'll do a person-to-person case management and work through them to see what their situation is. It's so specific to each person's circumstance. There's so many variables. I don't even want to say this person may get this or this person may get that. So I think it's better that if individual assistance becomes available, and once we announce it, that we will then set up a process where we can then work with individuals on a case-by-case basis to help them. In the interim, they should be seeking insurance if they have insurance. They should be going to the services that are available right now to them through voluntary organizations or through other efforts that are assisting them right now through the shelters and those kind of things to continue to get that assistance in the interim. However, you want to manage expectations in saying that a lot of our programs don't meet the long-term needs that individuals may have here to ultimately move their house or to get them another house. And so we're going to have to work through those kind of issues and figure out how to help them in the interim until they can find a long-term solution.
And Janet, you said I get a follow-up as well?
You get a follow-up.
Can you clarify exactly how the numbers, the criteria is determined, and how you guys trigger sort of what the threshold is for individual assistance? And also, can you clarify the difference between renters and second or vacation homes?
Sure. So there's 6 factors we look at for determining whether a state is eligible for individual assistance. And those 6 factors include things like trauma to individuals impacted here, includes things like insurance availability, includes how many destroyed or damaged houses there were for small states, medium states, and large states. So we look at Hawaii as a small state. It includes things such as voluntary agency assistance, looks at things like the income level of the people that were impacted, any special needs, those kind of things. So there's 6 factors there we evaluate, and that's what we're kind of looking at right now so that we can provide that information. And it requires us to validate that so then the governor could take that and make additional requests. Up until maybe the last week where we had additional lava flow over homes, we really weren't at the number of destroyed homes that would take to trigger that program. I think right now, as we get better information on how many of those homes are primary homes, how many of those are secondary homes or vacation homes, how many of those are renters, it'll give us a better idea of whether they're meeting those triggers for that additional assistance. So we're evaluating that this week. We'll give that information once we complete that this week to the governor, so that he can make additional requests to the president for additional assistance. At that point, I suspect the president will make a quick decision as he did previously, and then that authorizes us to provide additional assistance. At that time, we will set up a process, announce it, probably have a press briefing, go into much more detail at that time so we don't confuse people before that point. And I think what we'll do out here is do it much more from an individual to individual case management style, rather than having them try to phone our 1-800 line, have them go on our internet. It makes it much easier to do it on a case-by-case basis, because there will be so many unique situations out here with occupancy and all those kind of things that we need to work through.
Anything else?
Sure.
Sorry, just clarification on the numbers you mentioned. The average was 4,000, but the cap was 34,000.
Yep.
Is that the same? Would that be the same folks in Hawaii? Is it based on any?
It's no, it's throughout the country. So it's the same. And for every year it goes, the cap goes up based on cost of living index. So it's right around $34,000 is the cap, just under 35,000, I believe, right now.
Just at a national level, not a cost of living for income.
No. And the average is a national average. It's about $4,000. Other questions?
Sure. Which number are you referring to that hasn't been met the threshold yet? Because I think there's official numbers and then there's kind of obvious estimates. What number are you at, and what number do you need to get to for this to happen?
Yeah, so it's really all those 6 criteria, the 6 factors that I laid out. So it's not, I don't want to say that there's a hardened number and you pass that number and you get to 300 destroyed homes and it's automatic. It's a combination to allow some flexibility in the system to meet unique circumstances. And so while we take out, typically we take out insurance, or we take out rental homes because they're secondary homes aren't eligible in our program. We would take those kind of things out, and those may bring down your numbers as far as total lost homes here. We also want to factor in those other areas that may be unique to the population impacted here. So it's not a black and white, a bar, and that's it.
As a follow-up, how hard is it to assess homes damaged in terms of the value, given that they're gone?
Yeah, so that's why we work back with the county to go over tax assessor information. Obviously, those that live off the grid make it a little bit more difficult to get occupancy and those kind of things. So that's what's taken us a little bit of time to get that information and to make sure that we have that kind of information that we can go back. And so what we're doing is we're looking at where the lava's gone, using some of our remote sensing imagery to lay it over maps that exist of what it looked like prior, and then starting to figure out what was destroyed. So that's what we're going through right now. Other questions? Well, I just want to. Yeah, go ahead.
I have another question.
Your question.
We have a team here that will stay here, and they have a public affairs team, and they'll be here for some time, and they'll ask
Touch a
questions.
little bit on what you just talked about. Now, do unpermitted homes fall under the assessment that you guys are?
Well, we're going to go through it, and we need to understand exactly what we're talking about, and we'll go through that and make decisions as we go through it. But it'd be kind of unfair for me today to take a guess, not knowing exactly the exact situation. So I'm sure that there will be many different variables here, and I think that's the other reason why we want to do a lot of case-to-case work with individuals here versus just turning them loose on our system. From a cultural standpoint, a social standpoint, a bunch of them, we want to work as close as we can with those who are impacted from this event. And so once we have enough information to make the request and we talk about implementing our program, we want to do it on a person-to-person basis to help them through a lot of these questions, because just as you're asking questions here today, they're going to have all those questions, and not every one of them is a easy answer. So by putting my staff in touch with them, allowing them to do case-to-case management, we can deal with each individual uniquely, as I'm sure they have unique situations and cases they're in right now, and needs, right? So we want to be there for those. So let me just end with, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. Just want to reemphasize what a great job local government and states doing. My job is not to run this event. My job is to support the state and local government. My job, in FEMA, is to support governors and mayors. And you have a mayor here that's just doing an unbelievable job of leading this effort. And we're going to continue to support him with what he needs and the resources he needs. And our team will be here throughout this, not only right now as we go through this part, but into the long-term part, because there's a lot of big decisions ahead for us. So thank you for having me today.
I think all of you know how complex this is going to be. One of the things that was not mentioned that will be also pursued is the relocation program. That's very long term, because this is not like many hazards. There are areas there that cannot and should not be gone back to. So we are looking at the total scope of what we can do. All I know is this: without the state and especially the federal programs being made available to us in a personal commitment, there's not much county government can do it itself. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, folks.
And if we have additional questions, Janet, who do we field those to?
You could send it to me, and I'll get you answers.
Okay, email them to you now.
Anytime. Right ahead.